Hi, I'm Mary Crowley, and this is Mostly Arts. Today I'm delighted to have as my guest Jim Boughton, who is an artist who has worked in many, many different mediums. I'm so happy that you decided you would want to be on.
Thank you, and I appreciate you.
We've known each other
me.
for years, right?
I was going to say, I was thinking about this before, and I think we've known each other for over 20 years.
I think so, yes.
And we've been, involved
sometimes
in
I see you, and then maybe a year will go by, and I don't see you anymore.
Right. But we've, seen each other's artwork through all these years, and have been involved in different projects together.
That's right.
So I really appreciate you inviting me on your show. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're going to go through the different iterations of Jim Boughton. You have done art in many, many different ways.
Right.
So let's start out with the art at Grace Church in Fellowship Hall.
Yes. So I'm not sure what year that was that this play. So Rip Jackson was the music director at Grace Church at this time. This was, maybe 15 plus years ago.
Yes.
And so Grace Church would do these very large productions. So they did Bernstein's Mass.
Right.
And they had asked me to do set design for this play. I think they can see now that this is just part of the set that I had created. There were two more pieces, similar to the long pieces that were taken by Rip and the choreographer of the show. But these are very large. They're probably 8-9 feet tall. They're on plywood. And they gave me very little direction. It was just, wanting stained glass.
And they needed to be Christian in concept.
They needed to be, of course, the play is called Mass. So, and you can see on this one particularly, you can see that what I tried to do is create a stained glass effect. So the lines that you see there that look like lead lines are just caulk. It's just a caulking gun.
But the lines are a light color. So they don't detract. In stained glass, the lines are dark.
Very dark.
Because they're metal.
Metal,
but this, I love the fact that you used a lighter color.
Yeah, it was just white caulk, and so I would draw this out. The large piece came in two pieces, and then caulked it and then painted it. And then because of that caulk is three-dimensional with the lighting on the set, on the stage of the Paramount, it created a little bit of shadow and texture so that you could see that. It made it look like each piece was stained glassed. And then obviously, I wanted the subjects to have a music theme, and the other two pieces that are missing were dancers.
Okay.
That I don't have images of. But these looked very dramatic when they were on stage. They were hanging in the back in front of a large black curtain. And here they are hanging in Grace Church Hall, and I'm so honored.
And they're dynamic in Grace Church, in the Fellowship Hall.
And I have to tell you, though, when you do set design, I've done a couple set designs, and a lot of times they just get rid of them because they reuse the plywood or the materials. If I would have known that Grace was going to keep these and hung them, I probably would have spent a little more time.
I don't think you needed to spend more time. I think they're dramatic and effective.
Right.
And I look at them from time to time.
Well,
they're beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. It was really, a fun project to do. I did another set design while Rip Jackson was there. They did Miss Saigon, and I did the set design for that. Very, very large pieces. And that one was painted over, because you have to reuse that stuff. But that was a lot of fun. It's very different working large. I generally work pretty small.
Right.
So.
But you were comfortable working large, obviously.
It was fun. Yeah. And this was something I've never tried or done before, to try to create a stained glass effect.
Right.
So that was, it was fun to do. Try to figure that out.
Well, let's go back in time. When did you decide, okay, I like art, maybe I'd like to be an artist? How did you figure that out?
I don't know if I figured it out or if it just it was in my genes. It was in my DNA. There's a lot of artists in my family. My great grandfather, my my aunt, my cousins. My uncle was a chief photographer of a major newspaper. He was published in magazines.
Wow.
Even my mother, my brother. There's art in our family for sure.
So you grew up with the arts.
I did. In my own family, my mother and brother didn't take it seriously. They could really draw, but they just doodled. I believe maybe middle school, high school, I identified myself as an artist. As when you're going through that time, you're trying to find yourself, and you're trying to find out who you are. And it became clear to me that I am an artist. And throughout high school, I was, it was me and there was another person that were the artists in the school.
Right.
And so that was, it just, I don't know. I think you can learn how to do some art, but I think artists are born. I think they just are artists. They're creative people, maybe not even artists.
The very fact that you had a family that had created art.
Right.
That makes it easier, I think.
Right, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
My mother was a math teacher and my father was an engineer. So they didn't know where they got my brother and me.
It's very left brain
Yeah, right.
stuff, right. I'm definitely high right brain.
Right.
So yeah, and I'm very grateful I'm an artist. I feel very appreciative that I'm a creative person, and I think the way I see the world and see things, like, and if you come to my house, I have these rocks here. I've got rocks and driftwood and things in nature that have inspired me or just caught my attention that I might do something with. So I walk through the world in that kind of way.
Right, and that's why you're not married to one art form. You were able to do a variety of things. Well, let's go on now to the Peace Train.
Okay.
It was a street art project in Rutland, and talk about the Peace Train. I love it. It's going from place to place now. I saw it in the hospital.
Yeah, it has. The train has come back around.
Right, exactly.
And you were a part of the beginning of the Peace Train. So I was the director of the Chaffee Art Center at that point, and I remember you and maybe Karen Seward came in, and you just wanted to do a street art project. And we all talked, and we ended up coming up with the trains because of the relevance of Rutland and how important the history of the trains here, and we just thought that would really suit Rutland. And this was a huge, huge project. We got the downtown partnership involved. They really kind of took over, and which was a great thing.
Mary Ann Goulet had
really
all kinds of ideas.
Great ideas. They took it to a different level than we could have from the Chaffee. So I can't remember how many trains, but there were just a couple dozen trains that, as people know, these projects, a variety of people from schools to artists to just anybody could do one of these trains.
And your train, I think, was the very best.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Why don't you talk about how you decided to have the swirls, the peace symbols?
Yeah, there it is. So it's just, Peace Train. I wanted it to have this theme of peace and love and happiness. And so I just kind of, and the idea of this, if you look at the coal car, is filled, the coal is peace signs. So the peace coal pieces are fueling the train.
Right, and you can pick them up.
You can pick them up, right. And the train is connected to the coal car by Peace Train. Doves are on there as far as a symbol of peace.
This is a wonderful video.
Thank you. Yeah, this is when it was at Cedar. It's been, so I don't have this train anymore. Robert Black has acquired this train. Amya had bought it for the auction, and they had it for a long time. This Peace Train also, I took it up to the State House when Governor Douglas was in charge, and we presented it to Governor Douglas. Amya bought it, and then it ended up going to somebody else, and then Robert Black is now the owner of the Peace Train, and he is taking it around to schools and
we
the
certainly
library,
need peace. There's no question.
Yes, Robert is creating a whole new movement because of this, and that it really makes me feel so good. That something that I created a long time ago is not in a
It has another
barn
life,
somewhere.
completely different.
It's been still inspiring people. So it was just a great project. This raised a lot of money, and that money was spent in various ways through the art community
Right.
And the downtown partnership. But it was just a really fun project. I did this with a friend of mine, Mike Walker, who helped me with this. He was a carpenter, and
All right, and that's how you were able to get all of those peace symbols cut out?
Peace symbols, yeah, we both did
And the
all
curve
that. And the curve
along the three
and
wheels?
Yes, and the train is different. Everybody got the same exact train, but we
Yes.
took ours apart a little bit.
You took yours to another dimension. Right.
Not everybody got a coal car. We made
No.
that, but we rounded the roof of the train and the engine part, and we put a different stack on. And anybody could do. You could do whatever you wanted with
Right.
your train.
Right.
But just the idea of sending out peace and love and making somebody smile was my goal.
And also, there were many, many bright colors. And at certain points, you had a dark background, and then you had a bright color
Right.
in front of it.
Right.
I mean, you just understood design.
Thank you.
Love it.
And it's fun. And the hand on the top of the smokestack is a peace symbol, and that
Yes.
was done with a mold. So that's it's one of our hands that was put into.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was Mike's hand actually, and you have to put it in the mold and hold that there for
Okay.
20 minutes, and so everything there
I thought it was quite realistic.
Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, how can
I
you
saw
draw
it just
by
the other day.
hand? So I'm so glad that it's still moving around and people
I
are
am
seeing
too.
it again.
It's been in schools, hospital, Grace Church.
Right.
I don't know where it will go next, but
I don't
Robert
either.
Black wants this to go from place to place.
Yes, and I've heard that when it's in the schools, some of the students are doing projects around it,
That's
writing, writing things inspired by,
Right.
the train or a piece. I'm not sure exactly what the details are, but and I think Robert's plan is to see if we can bring back some of the history of the trains and maybe
Right.
do another project here in town. So
Possible,
it's exciting,
right.
yeah. And
Stay
as an
tuned.
artist, you don't know when your work is sold and it goes somewhere. You don't really know where it's going to end up.
No, you
Sometimes
don't.
people hold on to them for a long time. Other times they just, you hope that you don't see them in an antique shop being
Right.
sold for $7.
Right. Well, I remember the Noah's Ark train. There was a woman who collected Noah's Arks,
Right.
small and large. So she had a big figure bid in early.
Right.
And we were delighted. Grace
Right.
Church did
Right.
that.
And you did a train as well.
I was in on the Halloween train. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Another public art project was pigs in Brandon, more recent.
More recent, was that just last year?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
just
was.
last year.
Yeah.
Brandon's done a lot of projects, as
Absolutely.
people know, and I've been involved in most of them. But last year was a lot of fun. Last year was a lot of fun.
Right.
Pigs, everybody got the same exact pig.
Right. It was like a pig cutting board.
It was a cutting board.
Yeah.
It's a piece of wood about a half-inch thick, about a foot long.
Right.
And again, when you give something to an artist, you have no idea what's going to come back. And that was one of the joys of this project is they handed out, I think, 60 to 80 pigs. And when we had this party, when everybody brought their pigs back,
Right.
you get the artists get to walk around and see what everybody created. And to start off with the same exact template and to see what people did with it.
It was unbelievable.
It's just
Yes.
amazing.
Some people just painted on the flat surface, and other people, you took it to a whole other dimension. Why don't you talk about yours?
So my idea, when these projects come to me, I just brainstorm. And I just try to think about what would work. And so this is called When Pigs Fly. And I just thought it would be funny to have a pig that was like like an airplane. And so the pig is flying, and then the pigs inside are flying. So I made the wings out of paper mache. I bought kids' goggles for like $2, and I ripped them apart, and I paper mached around the goggles so they fit. And then just, painted.
Oh, I didn't remember it was two-sided.
It's two-sided, yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny, it's flying over a cloud, And this thing
course.
the thing that it's on was from a lamp that I must have had 20 years ago.
Okay.
And as an artist, you save some things. I knew
Right.
20 years ago, I thought, I'm going to use this piece of junk for something. And it was perfect because it held
Okay.
up this pig. And it was just a really fun
And
project.
your particular pig stood out because it was a cut above. I mean, literally, figuratively as well. It
it's,
was up there. Look at those funny little pigs.
Yeah, they're all flying in the pig plane when pigs fly. So that was a lot of fun.
It was.
And I look at things like this and I think, oh, if I had another month, I would have done this and that. But
It was very effective just the way it was.
Yeah, it's.
And do you know who bought it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
No,
don't know. Right. So when these projects end, there's an auction. Brandon had an auction. People go around
Right.
and they place bids. And,
Right.
it's. I'm an artist that I've sold quite a bit of work, but I get very attached to my work. So. It's hard for me sometimes to let things go. In this case, I knew from the beginning that this
Right,
was something
exactly.
that was for a benefit.
Right.
So I've done a lot of those kind of things.
Right.
Even Come Alive Outside a couple years ago had, they handed out suitcases. And they asked artists to paint a
Okay.
suitcase. So I painted a suitcase and I loved
So
it.
what did you paint on the suitcase?
I painted a hummingbird and like, all these colorful bubbles.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's nice to know that your artwork is out there.
Yes, it is.
Creating conversation, or just when somebody walks by, they might smile.
Right.
So I'm so glad that Brandon did that project and that I got involved.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. You have been working for a long time on rocks.
Yes.
Talk about how that got started.
They're right here. And we
Ta-da!
have so these are, just before COVID, we have a door in our bedroom. We have an old house, and the door does not stay open. So I said, I've got this perfect round rock
Okay.
in my barn. So I need a rock, and I was gonna just use a rock as a doorstop, but I'm an artist, and I can't just put a rock down.
Of course not.
So I painted a face on it. It's to use it as a doorstop. And once COVID started coming in, and just everybody had their own experience with COVID.
Yes.
I just started to paint more of these rocks. I had fun painting this doorstop rock, and so I just thought I was going to just do another face and then another one, and now I've probably got 100 of them. And
they're all different. Each one is unique.
They're all different expressions, and part of this was how I kind of went through COVID. Some of these just made me smile during a hard time to paint, funny faces. Some of them are relevant to something that was going on. There's the COVID
There's
one.
the mask, right.
I had to do that one. And the more I did, the more I thought I've got to just keep going with these. They're just a lot of fun. I would go for a hike and just pick up some rocks, and these are just acrylic paint. They're not meant to be outside, or
Right.
they would not do so well.
So many different expressions.
There's so many.
And you can see some are male, some are female,
Yeah,
some you're not sure.
and that's sure, right.
at the lips
and
there.
There's one in there that looks a little sad because something had happened. I think before I got working with Peg, I had applied for a job and I didn't get it, and it was
Okay.
so I call that rock Tuesday. They're all named.
Okay.
This one's name is Broccoli. So they all have a funny name, and I always leave the back unpainted
Let's-
so you could see what kind of rock it was in case
Okay.
somebody wanted.
This is
to know.
Rocky.
Rocky, yeah, right,
This is Chuck.
right. This is
I love the fact that they're names. And the date is on here.
The date's
And as
on
I
there.
picked them up before we started to tape, a lot of them are 2020.
2020, yeah,
During the-
right. And I have some more. I have more than I can move around because that's another issue.
Yes, of
I've
course.
realized
They're
that
heavy.
I've realized I've started an art project here that's very heavy. So
Right.
I've displayed these in a couple spots, and it's it's work getting
Right.
them there. They, you know, a little, you have to.
Yes, exactly.
They're very heavy. So this is something that I feel like I'm going to continue to do. It's just, it's a lot of fun for me to do these. I just think it's endless, the amount of expressions that
Yes,
you
of
can
course.
do.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed working on these. And some of these I can do within 4 hours, and others it takes longer.
Right.
It just is the way it is.
Right.
You know, sometimes it just comes right out, and other times it's a little bit of a struggle. But I'll have, generally when I work on these rocks, I'll have 4 or 5 of them going at a time.
Okay.
And I just keep, if I'm getting a little stuck with one, I'll
Go to the other.
I'll go to
Right,
the other
yeah.
one, and I can just go.
Right.
And a lot of times with art, for me, and I think this would be true for artists, is that sometimes we get stuck. You know, sometimes you don't know where the art is taking you.
Right.
And other times you have a plan.
Right.
But sometimes I hit a wall, like
Yes.
a writer's block.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how to move forward with this, so I have to put it aside.
Right.
And there are times I'll put it aside and I leave it visible, and it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks, it might be a month, and then all of a sudden if I look at it, I think I know now what that needs.
Something is happening.
Something just
Right.
clicked. Maybe I just
Unconsciously.
maybe I just got out of my own way. But it's just, you have to be patient with that.
Right.
And so that's how I do my work is, you know, I often kind of hit those roadblocks.
Right.
And then I have to just put it aside. Some I've put aside 20 years ago. And I'm still waiting for it to tell me what it needs.
Maybe you'll have to retire before you
I
return
need to,
there.
right.
Let's go to the tree houses and the carving studio.
Yes. Okay, so these tree houses I've done in the last few years. I think that we can zoom in on one of these. So these are so much fun for me. This came up for me because I had a model train set when I was a kid, and I loved
Okay.
it. So this one is all cardboard and like box board. So this would be like a cereal box, and the roof is made out of toilet paper roll that I cut up into all these 1,000 little pieces,
Amazing.
and I just glue them all together. And I always start with the piece of wood that just inspires
Okay,
me. It just
right.
you know, talks to me, and then I
Yes.
think, how do I work with that? And so all of this is recycled. That's a big theme that I've been going
Yes,
through.
right.
Is just recycled material. The flowers here are flowers from my garden that I just picked. There's real slate in there, and the rest of it is just boxboard, Scotch tape, and I just use a little bit of glue, maybe a little Fimo, but things that I may have found. If I can switch this one, I'm going to just show if we can see what this one is like too. But these have been so much fun. These take a long time.
I'm sure they do.
They take a while.
When there were a number of these at the Chaffee, I was amazed at the work that must have gone into them.
Yeah, it takes a little time and a little bit of design, scratch my head. How do I, because I've never done this before. So
Right.
For this one here, that I wanted this building to look a little tilted and
Well, that
odd.
piece of wood that you started with is very interesting.
And that's what does it, is I start with
Right.
a piece of wood, and I think this is such an interesting piece of wood.
Right.
How would a house look on top of that? The rock here on this one is insulation board that would go, you know,
Okay.
in a home.
Right.
That was just scrap. And so I cut it, and I paint it, and it looks like rock. So my whole goal, the ladder, is incense sticks.
Okay.
So I try to spend very little. Making this, I would say I spent less than $8.
That
on
shows
this.
beautifully.
So
The crooked roof.
yeah, it's just a funky.
It
it's
is.
very
That's
funky
that's the
little
word.
house. Yeah, it's something that I say when I'm building. I wanna live there. You know, I wanna live in that thing. So, but these are a lot of fun. I have probably 8 of these.
Yeah.
One of them we got kittens a couple years ago, 2 years ago, and one of them, the kitten, dealt with.
Oh,
So
okay.
that house is condemned right now. So, but these are a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed.
I enjoyed seeing them at the Chaffee, and these two are
yeah.
delightful.
Thank you very much.
Well, now, drawing and painting, oils, pastels, acrylics.
Yes.
Why don't that's
Yes. Yeah.
another.
That's a whole. So right now I'm starting to get back into painting. I prefer oils. I like acrylics because they dry so fast, but I just can't. It's just not fully for me.
Right.
Oils.
You can't manipulate the colors the way you can with oil.
I love to
Right.
blend and have slow
Right.
drying time. So these are all oils, and but I've done oils. I love pastels. I do acrylics, watercolor.
And there's a pastel
sculpture.
of an eye down there in
Yes.
front of the table.
Right. So I think for me, that's been, as you had said, I've done a lot of different styles. And I've often wondered, I've looked at other artists and they kind of have this avenue and I
They have
admire
their groove
that.
and they don't veer
and
from
I
it.
like that. And I bounce all over and I think...
Successfully.
I like, thank you. And I get, sometimes I'll do the rocks and I'm like, I just need to get away from the rocks. So
Okay.
I'll do the houses and then I go to painting. So, and it's nice. I think it's whatever is in me at the time. There's something I might
So
need to
do you have a
express.
studio, a place
I
to
do.
work?
I have a room. It's a
Which is
studio.
wonderful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've got one of our bedrooms is my studio.
Right.
I've got a very large art table, easel. I've got tons of art materials that I can work with. So, and my
So
studio
that makes it
is-
easy.
Yeah, I go in my studio and everything's right there for
Right.
me. So, which really helps. I think there's some artists that need to put their art away, put their materials away, and
Yes,
then
and then
take
they
them
have
out.
to get them out again.
And that breaks the creative
It does.
cycle a little
Absolutely.
bit. When you go in your studio and you can sit down and just start to create, that is, that's probably where you want to be. 'Cause
Right.
then you can just get the flow of creativities out. So, so right now I think I'm heading towards doing a little more paintings and pastels, and I will go back to my rocks and these little tree houses. And other, other houses like that.
So you're saying that you will do more than one kind of art?
Yeah, I can't help. That's who.
You
that's
can't
where I
limit
am.
yourself.
That's right. That's where I am. So, yeah. And then when projects come up, I love to be involved in those projects and communities. And,
Right.
Yeah.
It's time for Rutland to have another project. I don't know who would
I know.
start it, but
I'm
I mean, the
waiting.
last one was the Hearts, right?
I think the benches. I think.
Oh, the benches were the last one. Of course they were.
Sherry
Yeah.
at the Chaffee
Right.
did the benches, and I didn't get involved in that. I'm not
Okay.
sure why. I didn't think I could commit to that.
Right.
But I'm waiting for Sherry to do it.
I'll mention
Launch
it.
anoth one.
I'm gonna volunteer
We'll go. Right
at Art
after
in
the
the Park.
show, we'll go over and see what we can do.
Well, it would be wonderful to have another art project. It brings artists together, and there's a spirit when they're being displayed all over the city.
There is, right. There's still trains out there.
Right.
The benches, when I go
Right.
around, I always notice the benches.
Right.
But it is, I've always believed that art is really important for us individually, but for a community.
I think so too.
Really important for a community. And so, whenever we can do what you just
Yes.
said, to bring people together
Right.
and create, that creative energy, it doesn't just, it's not a bubble of artists, it pulls everybody in.
It does. And especially if there's an auction at the end.
Right.
It brings the whole community
Brings
together.
it,
And
right.
people from other places as
People
well.
from other places, right. In fact, when I go somewhere, the creative world is kind of, I'm an artist, so maybe I'm drawn to that, but I think a lot of people are.
I do too, even the non-artists.
Right,
Right.
right.
Well, I thank you so very much for sharing all of this today, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome. Thank you, too, for watching.